feel like I never stop. I can't commit to the gym 4 times a week. And I actually almost thought you were going to be like, but you need to if you want to get these results. And you were like, that's fine. I genuinely can't remember ever being a size 8 in my life. I grabbed like 2 pairs of trousers and it was 10 and a 12. And I put the 12 on and like they literally kind of like drowned me. And I was like, the 10 will be fine. They were like exactly the same. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, I have to get a size 8.
That was my client, Christy, who despite being a single mum and having to run a team at her work in insurance, which involves a lot of travel all across the country, still manages to stay on top of her health and fitness. And today we are going to be deep diving into how she has lost upwards of 7 kilograms and has managed to keep it off.
So I'm Christy. I work in insurance. I lead a team that is based across the UK. I have a 14-year-old daughter who is a world champion cheerleader.
I was going to say, we have to put that in.
I'm going to fire that one in. That's a cool story. And yeah, we live in East Lothian.
Nice, good stuff. So I guess for this chat, we'll talk about kind of your experience with Jack so far. And if we then start off by kind of going back in time to just before you kind of first started, what were things like at that point in time? Like, what was training looking like? What was your kind of nutrition looking like? And kind of how were you feeling about where you were at?
So training wise, just before I reached out to you was pretty non-existent. It had been a bit of a rough year, and kind of all the sort of usual sort of fitness stuff that I did, I'd just kind of fallen off a cliff basically. So I wasn't doing very much. I was just working and being a mum really. Nutrition wise, I don't think I've ever been terrible with nutrition. I think I always thought I was kind of making the right choices and stuff. So again, I don't think that was horrific, but I didn't really know what I was doing. Really.
Fair. And then I guess at that point in time, what made you then think like, oh, you know what, I need to change this up a little bit more and try something different?
I think it was just the way I was feeling, because I didn't have a routine, I didn't have any consistency, and I thought I need to change this up. And kind of just started looking into things that I could do, so things that would kind of really push me and give me a bit of drive back really.
Because you were fairly new to like the gym, is that right?
Yeah, so I'd been a member at the gym. I paid for it. I didn't really go.
The classic,
I just saw it coming out my bank account every month, and I was like, oh yeah, I can go there if I want.
Oh yeah, I remember. I have that.
And I would go on the odd occasion, but again, there was no structure to it. I didn't really know what I was doing there either, so I just didn't really go. I did a little bit of boxing. That was probably the kind of main sort of consistent sort of fitness that I had. But that had kind of dropped off as well, just with kind of last year, and it just been a little bit rough.
Fair. And then I guess when at that point in time, so you said you just kind of weren't really too happy with how you were feeling, right? And how you were looking as a result of that as well. So was there like a tipping point where you're just like, right, enough is enough, or was it more of just like a gradual sort of?
Yeah, I don't think there was a tipping point. I think it was a gradual, just I'm not feeling good in myself when I was going out, when I was working, and just feeling generally like a bit meh.
I think I would say meh is sometimes the best way to describe it. It's like it's not like so bad that like things are awful, but it's like you just meh. And then meh I think is the best word for it. Okay, cool. And then how did you find out about Jack actually?
So a client of yours, I used to stay in Street Chris Burns. So I had saw stuff through his Instagram about his sort of transformation, which I was like, okay, wow. And another guy I went to school with as well, actually. Oh, nice. Ross. Janetta.
Oh yeah.
So I saw them. Obviously, we're clients of yours. So I just kind of came on to your page, started following you, and started seeing, kind of seeing what you kind of did.
What it was all about. Nice, good stuff. Was there anything that stood out of interest?
Well, actually, if I'm being really honest, there was a lot of guys, and that initially kind of put me off. So I was like, oh, like maybe it is more sort of like guy focused, like men focused. So yeah, I was initially a bit like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. But then I think I did start to see some of your stories with kind of like females on it, and I was like, oh, okay. So that's the point. I thought, okay, I'm going to reach out.
I'm going to give it a try.
This guy does good stuff.
Well, thank you. No, I always find it interesting asking people like what they think of the page and stuff, because I never want to sort of drown in. I mean, it's hard to always avoid, but drowned in with like what everyone else does and everyone else is saying. And you know, I asked someone else the same question recently, and they were like, "Oh, you were the only one that didn't then like message me right off the back of you following, saying like, are you interested in it like immediately?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean?
Not that kind of guy.
Yeah. I'd rather people like see what I'm about, and then if they're interested
and want to.
Yeah. Exactly.
Want to reach out rather than kind of being forced into it.
Exactly. So then, if we go for the timeline and think, okay, we had a chat about getting started. Yeah. You were keen to give it a go. If we kind of think about those first few weeks, first few months, was there anything that kind of stood out to you as to what you were kind of getting the most value from, or what you were enjoying at that point in time, or even any challenges, but we can come to those.
I was kind of enjoying all of it. It was kind of having that routine back, that consistency, getting, you giving me the program for the gym and stuff, which I'd never, like I said, I walked into the gym and didn't know what I was doing. So kind of having like set program and exercises to do, I really enjoyed, and sort of like the targets as well. Like, I'm quite a competitive person, and it almost feels like a competition with my own, like with myself. Like, I'm going to hit those steps. I'm going to hit that protein target. So I quite enjoyed kind of getting into the swing of it.
Yeah, because had you tracked your food before we started? Actually?
So kind of years ago, I've done like the whole Weight Watchers type thing. So I tracked
you've done bits
the weight.
And pieces.
But not in terms of like calories, protein, and I know we don't massively focus on the fat and carbs and stuff, but that's something I'm really sort of mindful of. Never kind of done it almost as simply as that, really. I think a lot of people have this probably misconception that it is going to be really over the top, and then I think I definitely don't agree with people like, oh, tracking your food, it actually becomes unhealthy relationship with food. And maybe for some people, like, it does eventually go down that route, but then if you don't let it get there, but I think people come into it with that's their kind of excuse, right, for not wanting to do it, because it's going to be over the top. But like you say, it can be quite simple. And it was, and I think it was when you were saying weigh your food and stuff, that that's super important. And I think with that, I was a bit like, oh, that's just gonna be a pain in the ass if I'm really honest. But it isn't. It takes 2 seconds. And it's just being mindful of those things. So it was just really getting myself into like a habit, a routine, and
I think like for most people that's what it is. It's like you kind of find yourself in these routines that are not really favorable for what you want to be doing. But then it's like you have that sort of almost like negative momentum behind you, that it feels like it's going to be such an effort to then change that. And then when you do, and you get into the different routines they become easy as well. And you're like, oh, like I could have been doing this all along.
And I think I've said that to you in kind of one of my check-ins. Like, it feels quite easy. And I thought it would be the complete opposite. And
I think a lot of people have that. They think it's going to be this massive change right from the get-go. And I maybe said to you at the start, because I feel like I say this to most people when they start. So like, I never try and make it my job to sort of like overhaul somebody's life. And I'd be interested to know your opinion on this. I think when people try to do it themselves, because I used to do this as well, they automatically go to, right, I'm changing everything. From tomorrow, everything changes. I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week, and I'm going to, eat really healthy and do all this. And it's almost like too much in one go.
No, I completely agree. And I think you kind of push yourself too hard. And I think you kind of set the bar almost too high. Where you kind of just got to go and keep it simple, keep it structured, rather than like, who is really going to go to the gym 4 times a week?
Like forever.
Exactly. And eat perfectly every single day of their life. It's like a constant sort of push and pull between, because I'm like this, and I know, like, I think you are as well, and most people I work with, I would say, are similar sort of personalities, right? Of they are pretty focused on their career, wanting to push that. Obviously, a lot of them also have families and kids and everything else.
but so it's like balancing all the different plates together, and it's almost like they're trying to give 100% to everything. Yeah. And then they're trying to add on another 100% for their training and their nutrition. It's like, well, you can't do everything all at once. Yeah.
That's
so
not
it's almost
work.
like, but then because of, I think like the sort of personality, it's hard to not want to give 100% to, you know, something like go to the gym more and eat perfectly. And it's like accepting mentally that it's not going to be perfect, but I can just do my best. Yeah. And that's probably enough.
Yeah. I think I still find that quite hard. You probably hear that in my check-ins when I'm kind of like kicking myself if, you know, I don't see that the scales have moved.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, I feel like I've eaten as I should have, like I've done the workout, so it is frustrating because you just think, well, it should be
taken over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and it is kind of my kind of strive to just like have it all perfect and it all just like runs smoothly. Which isn't life.
Yeah, exactly. That never happens. It never happens. So then what you said it actually maybe felt a wee bit easier than you thought at the start. Was there anything before you joined that you were maybe a bit nervous about, or you're kind of like, ooh, like I'm not sure if I'll like that, or I wonder if he's going to ask me to do this, like, you know about that? Or
it was probably the gym.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have, you know, I didn't do any sort of weights or anything like that. So, and I think you'd kind of said, like, we're going to bring this into like like a sort of program. So I think that was quite nerve-wracking.
Because I remember I think you weren't actually a member of a gym when we first, but then you said I'm going to join after this.
I signed up to Pure Gym. And was in there like literally the next night. But because I hadn't done that sort of consistently. So I think that was a bit of a like, how is this going to be? I don't do weights. So it just felt like a bit kind of abnormal for me.
I think that's the same for a lot of people when they first start, is like they have, some of them maybe have been going to the gym, some of them maybe haven't, but if they have, it's like what you said, it's kind of just in a little bit of this, a little bit of that, like I know how the treadmill works, I'm going to do that, I know how this machine works, I'll do that, and they end up doing the same things. Whereas going in, when you have something where you just have to follow it, I think it's just if anything, it's just like a bit of off your mind. Like, I'll just do what this says.
Well, exactly. You don't have to think about it. It's all there. And I think as well, you know, when you're just going in the gym and just doing stuff, whereas actually having the program, you know, I've been pushing myself in terms of like increasing like the weights and stuff. So, you know, it's not just sticking to that. I'm actually saying, right, okay, well, I'm going to come in, I'm going to get like a PB.
Exactly.
You know, on these two tonight, you know, and just, can constantly kind of push myself to kind of, I guess, keep shaking it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And then I guess something that popped in my head there is, do you think, and you can tell me if I'm assuming incorrectly here, but I think most people when they come in, and I think maybe yourself, is the main focus is obviously, you know, at the beginning, drop some weight, improve body composition, right? Yeah. But then once you then start getting a bit more into the gym, they're like, oh, like I was doing the 5s, now I'm doing the 7.5s. When am I going to hit the 10s? You kind of, it gives another element to it, so it's not just about the body comps the whole time. Yeah,
because it was very much, I think, and you probably have got that from when we first spoke, that it was about, you know, this is kind of the weight that I want to get to, and I just kind of want to like overall kind of tone. Yeah. Now it's like, no, actually, I feel myself getting stronger, so I want to get stronger. Yeah. You know, I'm going to get that 6-pack.
Yeah,
so
100%.
So it's kind of what my sort of priorities?
Like goals, I guess.
Goals, my goals have kind of changed from what it's kind of not, like obviously I still want to get to, well, like the target weight actually that I wanted to hit. We
hit that ages
and now
ago.
we've kind of gone past that, which is so it's kind of not about that anymore. It's like, okay, I'm just going to keep sort of getting stronger and properly sort of like tone myself.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then I guess throughout, like for context for everyone listening as well, like you're down about 7 kg or something so far, roughly speaking. Yeah. And you started off maybe around about 65, and the goal I think was 62. At the very beginning.
Yeah, I think.
But then obviously now we're sort of like hovering around sort of 58 to 60.
Yeah, we're
depending on the day.
It's killing me.
But then something I say to you that I know a lot of people benefit from all the time is like weight loss isn't the same as fat loss, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I know we've had the chat, and I'm just saying it again for everyone else, like the people always look at the scale weight wanting to go down, and usually at the beginning it does, because like, you know, most people when they start, they do have a lot, not that you had a lot of body fat to lose, but you know, in terms of proportionately they have more to lose. But then as time goes on, and then every kilo of body fat that comes off, it just gets that little bit slower. But then equally, because you've now been training for, you know, consistently for 7 months, you're getting stronger. There's going to be muscle mass going on. So that sort of muscle mass coming up, body fat and coming down at a slower rate just means that you end up sticking at this point. And I think a lot of people do struggle at that point. So I feel like it's my job to be like, no, like it's definitely still working. We just need to keep going.
Yeah, your voice notes every week. Like it's coming. Don't worry. Like it's like that.
Yeah.
Please.
And it's almost like then mentally shifting from, okay, now seeing the scales sort of actually stay is a win. And then over time we'll see the pictures change and the measurements change and everything else. Yeah. I think with the kind of with the scales, like I've said kind of how frustrating it is, but actually, you know, I kind of look at my body shape and when I'm wearing clothes and stuff, and I can see, you know, the difference even from like 2-3 months ago. You know, it's similar. You know, lost a little bit of kind of weight since then, but I can see. So like my body is changing. Not necessarily. It's, you know. So you're right. And then we were talking about just before we started, right? The size 8. When that happened. So do you want to tell me a bit about that?
That was honestly, I don't think I'll ever forget that. I said I genuinely can't remember ever being a size 8 in my life. Always kind of been like 10, 12, sort of hovered, 12 to 14 sometimes. And I had to get some work clothes, and I'll never forget the shop. It was Mango at the Fort. And
Shout out Mango at the Fort.
Yeah. This is not paid ad. I grabbed like 2 pairs of trousers, and it was a 10 and a 12. And I put the 12 on, and like they literally kind of like drowned me. And I was like, oh, the 10 will be fine. They were like exactly the same. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I have to get a size 8. Honestly, the joy that brought me, it was just like little wins. Yeah,
there you go.
Like, I've never been so happy in a changing room in my life. So I bought 2 pairs of size 8 trousers. I actually now have some size 6s. It's depending on the store. So, but I'm like, I'll take a size 6.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think like people underplay little things like that, and it's not just about like the size 8 and the size 6. It's like the feeling off the back of that, and then I think like the kind of being proud of yourself for that work. And like it makes, I think a lot of people compare it to themselves, and it makes me think of when I was younger and before I kind of properly got into all this. I was always like, oh, like I'll never actually get there, be able to do that. And it's almost like, it sounds to me like that's one of those moments that you just like shatter that belief. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think I even thought I'll be a size 8. You know, that wasn't kind of where my head was. Again, because I wasn't kind of focused on, I need to be a size 6, I need to be a size 8. It wasn't. It was about kind of just feeling better in myself and healthy. But that was a pretty cool moment.
It's a pretty epic moment. For sure. But I mean, the whole process so far, it's not been without its challenges. So I think for you, probably the biggest one originally, you're pretty good at it now, was handling in kind of a lot of the travel, you know, down to London and everywhere really across the UK, right? So how did you, I guess maybe you could do a 2-part here. Like, for one would be, was that something that you were kind of worried about at the start? It's like, oh, how is it going to work with like all that? And then maybe leading into how you've managed to work around it.
It was something that I did kind of think, okay, well, how am I going to work this? Because when I'm in the office, when I'm at home, I know exactly what I'm eating and when. Whereas obviously when you're traveling, it's kind of sometimes just grabbing food here and there. But you know, I think you'd kind of given some really sort of good advice about like what to, you know, focusing on the protein and stuff like that, and just trying to make it best decisions as I can. So I feel like now traveling doesn't even I don't even think about it as what am I going to eat? I kind of know what I need to eat to get my protein, to make sure I'm not going over my calories and stuff. So I've kind of
just and it's just like with time, with experience of doing it, it gets easier, right?
100%.
And then I know there'll be, you know, maybe people listening to this are wondering, oh yeah, but you know, was Christy training like 7 times a week, or like what was happening here? But like, you've probably trained on average, if you actually did the math, it would probably be 2.5 times. But like most weeks at 2 sessions, the odd one with the 3rd session.
Most weeks it's 2 sessions. Obviously I've got I had my sort of cheer dance on the side, which I'm now having to leave because she's leaving the team, honestly.
So it's Regent session going for? No.
I'll just join the one in Falkirk.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was mostly kind of just around sort of like with my daughter with cheerleading and stuff.
Yeah.
She trained sort of 2-3 nights a week. Yeah. So I would try and fit my sessions into when she was in cheer. Yeah. I'd go to the gym and kind of go back and get her. And obviously if traveling and stuff, that was kind of challenging to fit that round if I was away for the majority of the week. Yeah. But I would kind of, if I knew I was traveling on a Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd get that first session done on the Monday and know, okay, well, I've got Friday or the weekend to kind of do the other one. So it's just kind of planning, thinking ahead. Yeah. Okay, what have I got coming up? So when can I slot the sessions in sort of thing?
100%. So. I think like it's funny because we ended up talking about a similar point on the last episode that I filmed, where so much of it is just down to just being a bit more organized with yourself and your time, and just like there's someone I like to listen to quite a lot of. He talks a lot about forward thinking and then backwards planning. It's literally just like thinking, what have I got on this week, and then planning back from that. How am I going to fit in the things that I need to? And like, I think people will assume when they see somebody who's been going through like such a good physical transformation, but they've probably ate nothing but chicken, broccoli and rice, and they've been to the gym and done like 2 hours on the treadmill every single day, when actually like it doesn't have to be like that.
No, it's literally like just over an hour, and that's kind of like the full program kind of done. I have a really varied, like in terms of eating, like I do love my chicken, broccoli and rice, chicken, veg and rice. Yeah,
but you probably cook it well, and I think most people, if they do that, they'll overcook the broccoli so it's mush. The chicken will be dry. Yeah. So no wonder they want to eat it.
When I was in America, actually, I got the best seasoning. It's like salt, garlic, pepper, and something else. So I just literally, that's all I ever put on my chicken now.
So you brought it back from America?
I brought it back from America, I was in Walmart, just like, okay, I'm just going to take 2 of these. So yeah, that literally just is smothered in my chicken every day. But yeah, no, I don't eat the same thing every night. Obviously, having Gabby, she does not.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. So I do kind of try and shake the. Kind of what we eat on a daily basis up. So
it's like,
it's varied. It's tasty.
Yeah, exactly. It can be done. I think it's kind of like we say. It's like you can stick with a plan and kind of like eat somewhat similar foods, but you can still have that variety. And it's like another big. And I know I'm biased because I genuinely do eat most of the same things most days, because most during the week I just don't really care, and it's fine. But I also then put myself in like your shoes, and I think, or even think back to when I was a kid. If my mum was saying like, "Oh yeah, it's the same thing," I'm like, "What? Like, I haven't been St. Patty's again?"
I'm not eating that.
So like, completely get it. Yeah. But you mentioned obviously America there, and I think that's actually a good thing for us to speak about, because I know before you went, you were maybe like a little bit apprehensive, because it was quite a while, right? It was 3 weeks.
It was two and a half.
2.5 weeks in America, which, like, let's face it.
We all know.
We all know.
Usually doesn't end well.
No, exactly. But I think you're actually lighter.
You came back, I actually lost weight on holiday, which I have never. That's never happened.
Yeah, and then I guess, but you didn't feel like you weren't like depriving yourself or doing like
No, nothing was ever off limits. If I wanted the cocktail at the pool bar, I had the cocktail at the pool bar. If I wanted the fries with my steak, and I think that's what it was about kind of having a little bit of like the nicer stuff, but focusing on, right, okay, I'm still getting my protein and stuff like that.
Because I think it's kind of like what we said earlier, people will go one way or the other. They're either going to be like, I'm going to be try and be completely on it, not stick to it, feel shit for not stick to it, and then that feeds this negativity cycle, or they're just like, fuck it, I'm going to have whatever I want. And obviously, like, that's not going to go down well in the longer term.
And it just and we actually, because it was so busy as well, I think we just didn't. There was so much wandering around. Like I think I was doing like 25,000 steps a day or something. So no wonder I lost. I could have eaten like far more probably.
You probably
and still lost weight. I missed a trick there.
No, I think
it was. I was worried going and kind of thinking about, I'm going to have come back and I'm going to have gained weight and I'm going to be back sort of, you know, at the start again. And so coming back to actually have been lighter than I was when I went was pretty cool.
And then like, did you feel, I'm guessing you felt pretty proud of yourself for that, because maybe in the past that wouldn't have been the case.
I think, well, that's literally never been the case in the past. I've always come back from a holiday and been little overweight, indulged a bit too much. So this one was probably the first one where I haven't, but I never felt like I was restricting myself. So it didn't feel like, oh, this is awful. You know, because I did have everything that I wanted to have. I did. So
and it's
it was
funny,
just making cleverer choices.
Literally just like smarter choices, like where you can still, as you say, have a bit of what you want. And I think you get it takes less effort to do that over time as well. Like you just decide, I don't know, I know for me, I genuinely, when I'm away on holiday now, I'm thinking like, I still want to eat stuff that makes me feel good. And even though like in the moment, sometimes, you know, you have that short term thing where, oh, I really want this. And then you have it. And then sometimes you're like, you know what, probably wasn't worth having. And then like, but then people then make that mistake again and again and again and again and again. But I think once you've got past it a couple of times, you're like, oh, like I do actually feel better for not having the whatever it ends up being. But then you also know, like, if you do want it, like,
have it.
Go do it.
And there was stuff that, you know, I did do that. I was like, oh, I want that ice cream or that, you know, cookie dough, whatever it was. You know, so I would do that. And you know, half of the time I wasn't even finished. I was like, Gabby, do you like, you eat this?
That's a good point though. Like,
like it felt, I'm trying to think what the word is. Like the right choice, like kind of eating the right things, like just made me feel so much better throughout like the whole
trip
kind of
itself.
holiday, and I didn't not want to eat that stuff. I think that's kind of the point I was trying to get to, that actually, because I enjoy the food that I eat. Like I want to stick to that stuff because I know it makes me feel good and it's good for me.
Exactly. And I think it ties back to what we were saying before. If people, when they do think of trying to eat healthy, they think of really boring meals, and they maybe don't utilize different flavors, and they maybe don't, I think most people probably actually don't really know how to cook that well. And I'm not saying I'm like fucking Gordon Ramsay, but like I can.
And I'm not either.
But like I think if you actually know,
I have an air fryer and a wok.
And
I'm like, that's pretty much the two things I use.
But then you get good at using those things, and you get good at making like the sort of regular meals that you have, and then they're tasty. You look forward to it, so then therefore you're far less likely to then be on the way home from work wanting
something.
If
like
it's me, it's like an oven pizza or something just so silly like that. Do you know what I mean? Then, but if you're good at making your own meals and you enjoy them, you're like, fine. That's
far better than anything you'd get from a takeaway or
exactly
anything like that.
Exactly. So I mean, going through all that, like taking it to sort of today and sort of starting to sort of sum up what we've chatted about. What would you say, and this might be like, you know, you can have a think about this if you need to, but like, what would you say has been some of the most valuable parts of just like being part of Jacked and kind of having a coach in your corner?
I think the main thing that jumps out is having someone to be accountable to. Because I think without that, you know, we were chatting about it earlier, you're like, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week and I'm going to eat so healthy and I'm going to do everything like by the book. And then if there's no one there to kind of hold you accountable, you know, you slip quickly back into old habits. And I've done that in the past. So I think it's having, you know, I have to check into you on a Monday and I'm like, I need to give him some positive stuff. You know, I want to have seen progress. I want him to be like, smash your targets. So I think that's a huge thing that I've got from this, and that is 100% what's kind of driven my results, I think, so far.
Because I find it funny as well, you know, people, I think online coaching is getting bigger, and like more people are kind of knowing what it is, what it isn't. But still, it's not something that, you know, it's different to like a gym membership or something where you're paying to like have access to this place or be this thing. And I think a lot of people still don't make that connection between like what it is. They think they're just paying for a workout plan and a meal plan, which obviously you get, like that's part of it, but
it's more than that.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, you know, the conversations that we have, the kind of advice that you give, you know, structured around sort of like how my week's been or like what's coming up.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that I don't know, you know, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. So just having that sort of like constant support and guidance is amazing.
And I think, like you say, it's like I always think of it as like, it's interesting, and I may have said this to you before, like because I've been like in sort of personal training coaching for almost 10 years. At the beginning, it was very much focused on the exercise and the nutrition, and obviously it still is a lot focused on that, but like that was almost the main thing that was like, felt like I was sort of teaching people. But now with all the information that's available, it's like shifting from, it's less about that and it's more about just the accountability side of things, and just making sure like people are doing it, and not just making sure that you're doing it, but then if you're not able to stick to it, not because you're not motivated or you don't have discipline enough, more just because life. Then how do we change it?
How do we change it? How do we find a different way that's going to work?
Because I always say, like, people, like, they'll say the goal, I want to get in shape. I'm like, well, the goal is to stay in shape. Like, really, we don't want to just get in shape for one holiday or one day, right? It's like, okay, but we need to now manage, how does this fit into your life, like, realistically forever? Because you're hopefully there's never going to be a day that goes by where you don't eat. And then there might be like hopefully never a week that goes by where you don't train, right? So then like you have to find a way to fit it in. I think, you know, with the way that we've done it with you, like, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this fits quite well.
It fits perfectly into my like I feel like I never stop. And I think, again, that was probably something that I was a bit, how am I gonna, you know, and I think I was really upfront with you. I can't commit to the gym 4 times a week. And you were, and I actually almost thought you were going to be like, but you need to, if you want to get these results. And you're like, that's fine. We'll
make it work.
Let's make it, make it work. Let's go to 2. And if you can get a 3rd in, perfect. Which, you know, I try and really push myself to. I'm like, you know, if I've got the time to do it, then I will get that 3rd workout in.
Sometimes you do a bonus 3rd one with Gabby, right?
Yes. I was doing that before Florida, actually, because she, her coach had given her conditioning exercises, which she was hating. So I was like, well, if I come with you, this. So I was doing squats and sit-ups and all sorts. So I was getting a few little extra bits. I was like, I was saying to you, I was like, Blair, I was like, I got another session and it just wasn't quite your progress.
But no, good, like you say, every little helps.
But
and I think so then maybe to finish off, if someone, I always think of it as like, if someone's listened to us chat this far, then they're probably like, oh yeah, maybe it could be the right thing for me. So what would you say to someone who is maybe like, they're thinking about messaging me or reaching out, filling in the inquiry form, but they're just a little bit like, oh, I'm just not sure, and they're kind of on the fence?
I would say 100% do it. You know, even if you are on the fence, reach out for a conversation. You know, I probably kind of felt a bit like, am I going to have to overcommit? You know, am I going to have to go to the gym 4 times a week? I can't do that with my lifestyle. And, you know, it's not, that won't be the case. You know, you'll be able to kind of help anyone and with their goals and, you know, what they can achieve. So 100% reach out.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Cool. Thanks.